A US newspaper has published a transcript of the heated phone call between Donald Trump and Malcolm Turnbull earlier this year, in which the US president described Australia's immigration policy as worse than his own hardline approach. Mr Turnbull pleaded with Mr Trump to honour a refugee swap deal and insisted the United States president could do so without actually accepting any refugees. The transcript is a stark contrast to how the leaders characterised the phone call earlier this year. North America correspondent Stephanie March reports from Washington.
The president revisited his core supporters in West Virginia.
I am thrilled to be back.
While the press revisited a conversation Mr Trump is not being allowed to forget. In January, the Washington Post revealed excerpts of this tense phone call between Mr Trump and Malcolm Turnbull. Today, the paper released the entire transcript.
The call is even worse than maybe we characterized it, because when you read the full transcript here, it's so acrimonious. There's so much anger and hostility.
The pair were all smiles when they met in May. But during the call months earlier, Mr Trump lashed out repeatedly as Mr Turnbull pleaded with the US president to stick to the refugee swap deal struck during the Obama era. Mr Turnbull told the US president he could honour the refugee deal without accepting a single person from Manus Island or Nauru, only that the US had to vet them. According to the transcript, Mr Turnbull said, "The agreement does not require you to take 2,000 people. It does not require you to take any. The Prime Minister offering to accept anyone you want us to take in return." Mr Turnbull had to repeatedly explain Australia's offshore detention policy to Mr Trump, suggesting his government wouldn't even allow a Nobel Prize winner to settle in Australia if they came by boat. Mr Trump interrupted, saying, "That's a good idea. We should do that too. You're worse than I am."
I mean, he means that as a compliment. You are meaner, you are, more extreme. You have a more extreme position than even I do on this, and therefore I like it.
Washington Post reporter Greg Miller broke the story of the leaked transcript, which reveals a president preoccupied with looking like a dope for sticking to what he called a stupid deal. Mr Trump said, "This is going to kill me. I'm the world's greatest person that does not want to let people into the country, and now I'm agreeing to take 2,000 people."
Turnbull maybe comes off a bit better, but also he's not fighting for these displaced individuals. He is fighting to preserve this deal that he has to hold together to empty these detention centers.
The Trump-Turnbull call was not the only transcript leaked today. The US president's conversation with his Mexican counterpart was also published. In that conversation, Donald Trump repeatedly asked Enrique Peña Nieto to stop saying that Mexico will not pay for the controversial border wall. Stephanie March, ABC News, Washington.